Good morning. It's Monday, August 5th, 2019. This is the Muscatine County Board of Supervisors. I'd like to call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is to review the agenda.
Move to approve presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Scott, second by Santos. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed the same. Motion carries. Item number 3 is to receive comments from the public. Is there anyone here wishing to address the board on an item that is not currently listed on the agenda? No, Jim?
No, I'm just gonna harass you today.
Seeing no one step forward, we'll move on to item number 4. Discussion of possible action authorizing the chair to execute a memorandum of understanding for the FY 2019 Justice Assistance Grant Direct Award in the amount of $7,551.60 with Chief Deputy Sheriff Artis Light.
Good morning. Good morning. So Jeff is right. We're just here to let you know that the 2019 JAG grant has been granted to the Muscatine County Sheriff's Office along with the Muscatine Police Department, in which the Drug Task Force will also get a share of that. Total allotment is $18,879. Task Force receives $37,7580, leaving $15,103.20 to be divided evenly between Muscatine Police Department and the Muscatine County Sheriff's Office. This grant has been ongoing for several years now. It is an equipment grant. It is not something that we would use to pay salaries. In the past, we've done such thing as body-worn cameras or other safety pieces. This year, we are looking to do a leads online and investigative software for Criminal Investigations Division, which allows us to look at all the pawn items that are done in the Quad Cities and all over the state and all over the United States, in case we come up with a theft, and we can enter the equipment into Leads Online, and it'll tell us if that piece of equipment has been pawned or not. It's been very successful for our Criminal Investigations Division. We're also looking at purchasing 2 dry suits for our water rescue unit this year. They're $2,300 a piece, so 2 of them puts us right at $4,600. I'm not sure exactly what else we're going to get with the excess, but we're thinking some taser batteries along those lines. They won't really let us buy tasers, but they'll let us buy the batteries to put in the tasers to make the tasers work. So, and I do want to say too that Phil Sargent, the Assistant Chief at the Muscatine Police Department, is the one who pretty much takes care of this grant, all its paperwork and all its requirements, and so it's very helpful that he does that, and he's continued to agree to do that. So I'm just asking for your permission for us to accept the $75,51.60 to enhance equipment at the Muscatine County Sheriff's Office.
I would move to approve.
Motion by Scott, second by Doug.
Ardith, you mentioned about potentially some body cameras.
Yes, we have body cameras at the jail. We have a body camera at the courthouse for Mike Wade. I don't know that the server that we currently have would allow us to put everybody on who's on the road, because it takes a large amount of data, and the county attorney's office has kind of warned us about making sure that we have the right hardware equipment if we're going to put more hardware on that and download the video equipment.
Okay.
We have done the one in the past for the courthouse because he was kind of unprotected over there without, a camera from his car. But we have not done that with the rest of the guys who are on the road.
So I know that the city just approved a $109,000 new body cams that Phil Sargent was also in charge of as well too. I think it adds a lot more value to, the cases and when they're going to the county attorneys. I didn't know if they were similar in the type of cameras that they have, if the same type of cameras they are, and then potentially if we ever have a discussion of future-wise of putting body cams on the police officers out in the field as well too.
The system that Muscatine Police Department and Muscatine County Sheriff's Office run is a WatchGuard system.
Mm-hmm.
So much better than the ICOP system that was the thing of the past. The quality of the video and the audio is just absolutely outstanding. So if the PD is moving in that direction, I'm sure that it could be possible that we're not that far behind. That's a discussion for another day.
Yeah, no, it was just something that when you mentioned the body cams, it just
Well, I
made me
think we've
think about
had
it.
this discussion for several years with
We
the
have.
sheriff, and as a lot of the issues around body cameras are being resolved and procedures.
Correct.
Because there's a lot of privacy issues with those as well that we have to be careful of with people that the sheriff's deputies may be visiting, so lots of issues around those. And I think we've had that-
142,000 is what I think they bought with the watch guard system that we just approved, so.
Okay.
Anyway, I just wanted to just question that if there was
Yeah.
ever some future.
We do use them in the jail. We just ordered, I think, 4 or 5 for the jail, inside the jail, which, once again, they aren't covered by a camera system per se for each officer when things kind of go awry over there.
Yep.
And so they're not used 24/7 like a deputy would, and it is in a way different setting than
Right.
going into someone's house, into someone's home or into a bathroom or,
Yep,
where
yep.
those.
No, just a question for it, so that's all I have.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries.
And I just have an original, Phil Sargent gave me the original MOU, one of them just needs to be signed.
Okay.
And then, returned to me or to Phil or to Cinda or
Okay.
somebody.
Thank you. Item number 5 are items with the county engineer, Keith White.
Good morning.
Good morning, Keith. First on the agenda is discussion of possible action to approve the purchase of 2 tandem trucks. I think you should have Keith handed out a bid summary this morning.
Yes, just wanted to comment on a couple things. The last time we were here on tandem trucks was January of 2018. So, we're over a year and a half later. The price increase on these units is 3.73% in that 18 months. And it's also included in that is a $1,500 per unit steel add-on for the tariffs. So if that wasn't in place, it would have been a 2.48% increase. Which obviously tells you they don't necessarily use American steel to build these, but it is an international company. So it's just some background information, and we do have a couple potential trades in mind, which are valued at about $47,000. That's for both. The same way we were looking at these prices reflect build dates in December. This is a cab chassis. Build dates in December that were still available. If we go across January, there's going to be another 3% or $3,650 per truck increase. So we hope to be able to order them and get December build dates. And then obviously the other trucks will have to run through the winter because snow equipment won't be able to, it's just not the time to be putting it on in January, so probably come next spring is when these would get built and finally built and put into service. But this is to get the cab chassis on the way and try and avoid that. And we did budget for 2 tandem trucks in our budget.
Keith, we didn't have anybody else that could quote these, or was there specifics around them that made it so difficult for other groups to get them, or?
Last time around, we did have Western Star in there, but our fleet is entirely Mac, so we prefer to leave it that way. And after one go around with H&L and Gator and not getting it, they basically, they will not quote. The other Mac dealers will not quote, because they're not gonna get it. Why would they waste their time? That's my theory of their philosophy.
The two trucks that you're wanting to trade in, or just potentially looking at a trade in, how old are those?
Those are 2006 Sterlings with both of them over 250,000 miles.
Is there any value in keeping those versus us just trading those in?
There might be, we're obviously gonna be keeping them for almost another year, but while others get built, but those two trucks are the one each remaining of a particular style of truck, which one has an elliptical dump body on it. Everything else has the Snow Fighter well, they do lift, but the advantage of the Snow Fighter type, one advantage is discharging in front of the drive wheels, and the other one is, depending on the route you're on, you're not having to raise that box and charge a tailgate sander and yank down power lines. So they're all of that design except for one truck. We traded off one of the ellipticals last time around, which wasn't. So we got to decide if we want to, and the ellipticals are the AR 500 extra strong steel elliptical bodies. That's what we haul riprap in, rather than beating up the regular bodies, the stainless steel bodies. All the rest are all stainless steel. And the other one is the last one we have, which has a cross conveyor on that, if Doug remembers the cross conveyor. So underneath the body is a conveyor that you can auger out to either side, which we have been away from. It's about another $15,000 to conveyor to either side. Plus there's a fair amount of maintenance in that cross conveyor. But we may want to look at keeping one of those in the fleet too.
I've watched the trucks when they're out in snow removal, and it seems like the newer trucks, everything goes more towards the center of the road.
Right.
And I'm assuming it probably takes less material, because you're putting it right in the crown where it's going to melt and go out.
It's shooting, the chute's carrying it out towards the center line. Just the cross conveyor, once in a while it's nice if you're needing to go to the shoulder to, not for ice control, but for other. We do have the shouldering machine now, which has actually done a beautiful job where we've used it, but you're not necessarily gonna get that out and do one little spot where you might cross conveyor it out. But those are the two that are on the two oldest and that are on the potential trade block. And same way, we always look at, can we get more from somebody? But the trade values have been going down, but they say it's just harder to move used trucks.
How much did we have budgeted for this?
Oh, without pulling it up, I can't say.
Okay.
Very, very close to this number, maybe more. I mean, we budgeted based off of our last number,
Yeah.
so. Can't recall if I even put a 3% on it or not.
Is Sterling still selling?
No,
I didn't think so.
they are not.
But they're looking on the day parts, are gonna be really hard to get.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For Sterlings.
I would really like to see if we could at least trade in one of those two that you have extras, but I mean, I know that that's your call. I'm just thinking about storage locations, where
Right.
we put them inside, is there value of maintenance on them afterwards? It just seems like you know, if we're gonna get a newer trucks, you're still gonna keep them until the end of the year. I just would rather look at least maybe
They'll be in
eliminating.
service till next spring,
Correct.
Yeah.
before they get the snow fighting equipment on the new ones.
Yep.
I would just feel from a longer maintenance standpoint, if we would at least get rid of them at space locations, not keeping them under some storage area.
Yeah,
And consolidating to one brand. line.
Correct, yeah.
it's typically one in and one out. Yeah, we were at a point where we were kind of all Sterlings, and Sterling stopped making them. Although this is getting on the upper end of the Sterlings, and they're Cat engines, so they are durable, and Allison transmissions, they are durable that way, but the truck itself is a little less durable. If we hung on to one, it would be the elliptical more than likely, because it's been
So
fairly well maintained.
I would make the motion to approve with the request of removing or selling, trading off one of the two. And that be the decision on the county engineer.
Okay, we have a motion by Santos with a second by Doug. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Projects update, Keith. How we doing out there?
Well, fair amount of construction going on right now, so design is not a lot happening right now. The only real update on design is, last week, Dennis and I met with Hickory Hills to discuss them securing a consultant and getting their main located. And I believe you will probably hear from them at some point when they have something more definitive on what it's gonna cost them to relocate their line.
Has MPW weighed in on the topic at all, or have they been involved in discussions with them, to your knowledge, Keith?
They have, I advise them a little bit on their discussions there. I mean, our experience has been, you get this answer from this person and then a different version here and then another version here. I suggest we have the people up here informed so that they get straight answers.
So do you feel like that group understands who they need to be speaking with, or?
I think they do,
Okay.
and you know, they've been a pleasure to work with, if you will, rather than being, you know, they're have been very pleased with that.
Do you, okay, maybe I'll check with you and see who's been kind of heading up from that group. So I reach out to them and talk. I know I've been talking to a couple members have been, Chad that I know have been talking to me. I'm not sure if they're part of that group or not, but I think it's a tough situation for that group out there, and,
Right.
you know, hopefully MPW will see the situation and
Yes.
assist with it. And so.
And then no communication from Bridgestone still. We did ask Power and Water, you know, their answer is the valve to that facility is closed. I'm thinking that water main's been dead for decades. Although I see an awful lot of people in that building out there. I mean, an awful lot. So I'm not sure how all that's working.
You're musical this morning, Jim. So this is, the holdup now is the location of the water, any water service to that facility? Is that the
Yeah,
biggest issue?
And the more precise, if we knew where their main was at, it might not be in the way. But
Right.
but we don't know where it's at. We do know Hickory Hills is in the way. Not, not a whole bunch of it, but part of it is
And
in the way.
do we have are we working with their local contact
Yes.
on that? And he's just not responsive or not?
I guess that would be the answer, no response.
So I'll reach out to there and see if I can help. Okay.
So that's kind of it on the design side. On the construction side, Iowa had begun paving for us. I know they had Wildcat Den somewhat completed. Don't think it's been painted, but it's been overlaid. If you do happen to drive it and see a stretch that was not done, that was done when New Era was paved. So it's newer than that other pavement. They've been working down on G28, and a couple more days and hopefully they'll be done with paving on G28, and then they've got to shoulder that before they move on to Kelly. Then they'll be doing Kelly, complete that, and then they'll move on to Bancroft. So that is getting done, maybe not quite as fast as we'd like to see it. And then Manats had been back on 112, what we call Steel Mill Road, and they hope to get the shaping finished today and begin seal coating tomorrow. And then they plan to place the first layer of seal coat, then shoulder, then place the second seal coat layer. So, and then the other one, we had a pre-construction meeting with McCullough Clover. That's the North Isaac Bridge replacement, and they plan to start the week of the 19th. So 2 weeks. And Iron City, the grading, the bridge replacement project, PCI, Peterson Contractors, they've been there and they have most of the dirt work done. They hope to finish their final shaping this week and start hauling rock. So that's coming along well. And the other bridge replacement on 155th, which Iowa Bridge and Culver's the contractor, we're not getting much of an answer there. The late start date's August 26th. They say that's roughly when they'll come, but they haven't asked for a pre-construction meeting or anything, so. That's it on construction. And the other, we did not have our meeting with FEMA last week. They had called me during the board meeting last week, which I didn't answer, and then they'd emailed me, and they changed the date and the time twice during that time frame. So I did call them up and say, well, which one is it? And so it's tomorrow morning at our office is the meeting, and Kurt, I believe, is going to be there, and Eric will be there for their portions. So that's our recovery scoping meeting. So hopefully we can get something moving forward on that. That is everything I have.
Anybody have anything else for Keith?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Keith. All right, item number 6 is the projects update with Conservation Director Kurt Weiss.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kurt.
Well,
Lots been going on this summer. If the water had kept down, a lot more would have happened. So I'll start with our projects, cabins, down at Deep Lakes, high waters, put a little damper on that one. Water is slowly going down. We're still planning, I know I keep hearing from a lot of people, are you still gonna put the cabins? We're still planning to put them where we originally planned. We will have the engineering firm come back in once the water's down. We've got the high water mark marked. We probably will be doing some more fill in there, but according to our calculations right now, until he comes back in and shoots them, the cabins would have still been, if they were there, would have still been high and dry. They would have not went under, but the roads would have went under. But, you know, for the most part, that's fairly clean water down there. We are seeing where it's been up so long that we are ending up with a little bit of like scum that's on the trails, but nothing like what we get like at Salisbury or some of our other areas where you have, you know, 6, 8 inches, 10 inches of silt deposited or sand deposited. So, but anyway, we're still looking at that same spot for the cabins. So as soon as that goes down, we'll go in there and redo it. We'll probably have to do some adjustments on how high we put the electrical boxes in there, off the power and water on that. We want to make sure we keep that up. And same way the septic system, it's a special septic system that we're putting in there, and it has motors and that in it to regenerate the water through there. And so we'll have to make sure those are kept up high and dry, but I don't see a problem in that. You know, putting the cabin somewhere else is just gonna be problematic as well as very expensive, you know, because here we've got a road system already going in. You know, the other thing is a lot of where we have roads already, we wouldn't have enough area for the septic system. You know, if we had sewer and water run through there, we'd have a lot of other choices where we could put cabins and that, you know, and that's a discussion for the future, because at some time, we do have to look at that being run down there. Restrooms, Discovery Park, they're scheduled to be delivered the week of September 2nd. So I'm working with all of our subs now to try to get foundations, electrical, sewer, water, all in place before the week of the 2nd of September, so we could put those in. Playground at Discovery Park, that new section, open, receiving a lot of use, a lot of great comments on that. We still have a little bit more work to do. We still have some more sidewalks to pour to get out to the roadways and that, benches to go in, some more signage to go up around there. One of the signs is gonna be that, you know, there's like 22 different animals hidden throughout the playground equipment that is sculptured in the rocks and that. And that's gonna be one of the games for the kids, you know, can you find all these animals? And so they could go through, but I mean, there's bats and mice and squirrels and raccoons and all that hidden throughout the playground equipment for kids to find. Surfacing the roads and parking lots in there. Had a phone call from Iowa this morning, just getting an update on that. I know they're busy with Keith's projects and that, but they are telling me, you know, my push was to try to get it done before our fall conference, which is gonna be here by the 17th of September. They have a schedule in for the week before that to do that resurfacing of the parking lots and the roads in there. And probably getting in before then, because I think that's a sub of theirs, so it's gonna put that connector road from the old part of Discovery Park to the new portion. So probably, hopefully within the next few weeks, we're gonna see some work to begin on that, and they can get that at least roughed in and gravelled, ready for the paving to happen.
Kurt, I had a few questions about that, and as I've been out and looking at it, I would agree that playground area appears to be getting just a lot of activity. Every time I've been out there, there's been half a dozen or a dozen cars, and the playground just full of kids, so that's awesome. What's the long-term plan with that feeder road into you know what you have it gated off down at the bottom of the old, are you looping that around?
It'll be a loop road, it'll be a one-way loop road going around, with the addition that there'll be a connector road that'll go over to the loop road that we have in the current Discovery Park. So people would be able to come off of Cedar Street and still get over to that playground equipment, or they could come down Harmony and take a loop through there.
So you're gonna have another entrance on Harmony?
Yeah, both of those gated areas will be open once it's all resurfaced.
I was thinking you weren't really keen on that idea.
I wasn't keen on opening that up if I didn't have that connector road.
Okay.
But with the connector road, now, you know, our officers can patrol that they don't have to go clear around, you know, and come in and have a dead end. That's the reason why I wasn't real keen on it originally is, you know, I didn't want it another dead end road over there, but it'll be connected with the rest of the park,
So we're basically that road that comes back where we come off of, it's Harmony, I think, right? And
Yeah.
comes down, and we're gonna, cause is that county road that goes kind of parallel to the park there? That's not a city street, if I'm
No,
right. is
but
that-
as soon as you get to where that parking lot starts, that's
Yeah.
county property,
Yeah,
yeah. So Harmony ends where that parking lot starts, right there, and then everything else is county property, county roads,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, and in the, like the concrete barriers, we're just gonna stick with that, or you eventually
Those,
tend to
those will
tear
still
that
stick
out?
with, those are, that road on the other side of those concrete barriers is to be torn out.
Okay.
And that is, I believe Meeker has to do that. But, so there is not that road through, we're still running into some problem, people taking that as a shortcut.
Yeah,
But
you-
eventually that road's supposed to come out and that be a grass
You might
area.
have to put a Jeepers berm in there or something, so
Yeah,
only a short wheelbase will go over it, like a bicycle. Okay.
yeah.
Well, I think it's looking very nice, and you guys have done a great job there. I think it's a nice, asset for the community.
Well, I really appreciate you guys turning that over. I mean, it is a great addition to Discovery Park. That instead of, you know, more housing would have went in there and then we'd have been dealing with that.
The restrooms you spoke of on the 9-2, is that the, by the old barn as well?
That's correct. That's those flush
Okay.
style toilets that you guys okayed here a month or two ago.
And then what's the plan on shelters in that area?
Still looking at, you know, I gotta get with you, we're still looking at trying to get some in yet this fall, but right now my concentration's on the fall conference, which is one of the other projects we're working on, that's coming up September 17th, 18th, and 19th. We've raised just over $29,000 so far from local donors as well as vendors for that venue. Registration's coming in. We're still expecting over 300 people from across the state to be here for that. I was planning on going up to visit the boat tomorrow, that's one of the days, but then this FEMA meeting came up, so I had to cancel that out, but we'll be getting up there, but we do have all the presenters for that all lined up, and so, everything's coming together very well for that. Trailhead project down at Deep Lakes. Last fall, we had the shelter put in. A lot of this has been funded from outside sources such as the Bike Club and some other private donors. Class of, I'm probably gonna get this wrong, 1955, I think. It was in our newsletter that we gave them a thank you. They gave us like 1,700. So the shelter went in last year. We now have added the new bathroom, went in this spring. Sidewalks went in, picnic table, bike fix-it station, kiosks, and then now a small bike rack has went in there. So, and we'll be getting in the next week or two to do our landscaping around there and then finish up the parking lots and that. But it's, you can see it right off of Stewart Road, right there at the corner of Stewart Road and 41st Street. But I know my wife and I have been biking that trail quite a bit. And a lot of people stopping and resting there. I think it's gonna become a popular little area, so, nice addition. And then our other projects are looking at those shelters, this fall, and then, doing the final cleanup out at Salisbury, waiting still a little bit on talking to FEMA. But main campground's been open, in fact, this weekend we were full, it's been full quite a few weekends here the last month or so. River Campground still has something to do on it. We had a lot of sand deposited down there and we're still trying to figure out what we're gonna do with all that. And again, I'm gonna meet with FEMA to make sure what we're doing is gonna fit into their criteria, so we're making sure we're getting reimbursed for that. But other than that, things have been busy. Beaches went over very well. Usage actually this weekend was down a little bit, but we've noticed that another time. Softball, baseball, all those are ended. This seems to be the time that a lot of families are taking vacations. But there are quite a few weekends there in July that our parking lot was packed with people down there, so, and really, no problems to speak of, so, very pleased.
Yeah, I got some feedback from residents that the officers are being fairly strict on rules down there, and I understand that you have to do that to maintain order.
We want to keep people safe, and, you know, I mean, that's a lot of it, is that, you know, if they stay within those boundaries of that swimming area, we know that the outside boundary is roughly 5 foot deep at the deepest, and it's a gradual slope, so we're not gonna, you know, they get outside of that area, we don't know what it is. It could go from 2 foot to 10 foot, you know, that's just how those sand pits work.
Right.
And so, yeah, we're trying to do that. The other deal we're having problems with, and we're gonna put up some more signing, is our kayakers. I don't know where they're coming up with this. They don't have to register their boat, so they don't think they have to follow any of the other, and no life jackets. And we're concerned, you know, we don't want anybody to drown down there. We just want them to be safe. And so, you know, state law is anybody under the age of 13 has to wear a life jacket, and everybody else has to at least have one with them. And so, I know this weekend I stopped down there the one day I worked for a little while, and I sent like 3 people home to go get life jackets for it, let them go out on the water. You know, they're showing up and don't have their life jackets.
We could rent some there.
What's that?
We could be renting some out.
Well, yeah.
Oh, no, then he'll need more staff.
I know.
and-
No, I was
No,
just thinking right there, maybe a checkout station or something.
probably a kiosk, you can buy
Yeah,
a car with
that's what
a
I'm
boy
saying.
kid coin up, why
I
can't you do it?
I had some residents reach out to me too in regards to the positive impact that the beach has given to the community. But one of the questions that was asked to me was, do we ever, you know, look at any statistics on how many residents do we normally have there, you know, or are we tracking any way of saying, okay, just like, you know, you mentioned earlier about the playground, normally 6 to half a dozen cars and the playground full. Is the beach, can we say, is there, you know, 20 people a day? Is it 100
You know,
people?
we don't really track them, no.
I mean, that way we know if we're really getting, you know, I mean, I know we're getting a lot of value from just the people that have reached out to me. Not about strict enforcement, but it was just about the fact that it was, you know, it's free, it's our community additive
Yeah.
asset. But can we say at the end of the year, we had 1,000 people there? You know, and I don't know that. I think it would be something.
We could try to keep track. Part of the problem you have is I don't have people down there all the time.
No.
And, you know, and there's cars there, you know, it's kinda like Discovery Park. There'll be cars in the parking lot, there'll be 3 cars there, and you can go by an hour later and there's 3 more cars, but it's 3 different cars. You know, because the people are only there for
And
a few hours.
it was just a question I was
Yeah.
asking. I'm
No,
not
and
asking
that's a
that from
good-
you, Kurt. It was just more from us to say, hey, you know, if we're getting, you know, a jam-packed area there every week, and it's getting a lot of return on our investment from a county standpoint.
Yeah, and
Then that's
up
something
until
to
this
look at.
last weekend, I talked to my park officer this morning, up until this last weekend, he says, you know, like Sunday, he counted there was only like, you know, 6 cars there for a while, Sunday afternoon. You know, the week before and, you know, before that, it was, you know, probably 50 cars at times in that parking lot.
Probably about 5 or 6 people in each car.
And, yeah, and we'll probably see an increase in even bringing people in from the Quad Cities for next year, because Westlake's gonna be shut down for next year, actually for the next couple of years. So there will be a beach that we're gonna see people migrating our way that don't have it anymore in the Quad Cities, so.
Good.
Good.
Good. Well, I appreciate the feedback.
Thanks, Kurt. Item number 7 is discussion of possible action for the minutes of the July 29, 2019 regular meeting.
Approve.
Motion by Scott,
Second.
second by Santos. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Next on the agenda is correspondence. Santos, did you have any correspondence?
Just the questions that I had just reached out to Kurt on in regards to the deep lakes and the 152nd email that we had gotten from Keith that replied to the resident, the county resident on the road conditions and maintenance. That's all I had.
I had on August 1st, attended a meeting of the, board meeting of the local farm bureau chapter, and to typically do this annually and just kinda ask us a lot of questions about what's going on and status updates on a number of items. So I attended that on the 1st. Other than that, I saw the same emails. That's it. Scott?
I had nothing.
Doug?
Correspondence was the same thing on 152nd, just dry conditions, and there's nothing we can do. Got a call from Jim about Bayfield Road, having the edges cut off for drainage, make the road drain better, and that was positive. Committees, I had none, but you and I did attend the Farm Bureau State Dinner. That's all I have.
Okay. Oh, you had committee, okay. Scott, did you have any
And I
committees?
had no committees.
I had no committees last week. Santos?
Same here. No
Okay.
committees.
All right, item number 10 is to receive information from county employees. Any county employees wishing to, pretty much from the ones left here. Item number 11 is items with the administration office. Discussion on possible action to approve resolution 08051901 abating taxes, buildings on leased land.
I moved to approve.
A motion by Scott, second by Doug. Any discussion? This is a roll call vote. Scott?
Aye.
Doug? I vote aye. Santos?
All right.
Item carries. Okay, item B, action to set a public hearing for Monday, August 19, 2019 at 9 AM on the proposed plans, specifications, form of contract, and estimate of cost for a new Muscatine County General Services Maintenance Building Project. So, okay.
I'll move.
I have a motion by Scott, second by Doug. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Other items, Nancy?
I don't have anything else.
Okay. Anything else? Any board members, anything to come before the board? If not, meeting adjourned.